We've been out for a few hours, so
I'm guessing you're campaigning hard.
Campaigning hard, mate. Oh no, you got to work hard to get people's votes and to make sure that you win over their trust and vote.
Hi everyone, and welcome to our interview of Tan, the Labour candidate for Slough. We will be getting to know him a little bit better in this interview, finding out what he wants to do if he's successful in his campaign and what ideas he's got for the future, and we are also going to be posing some questions that you sent in to us. So just to kickstart it right off, Tan, just give us a little bit about yourself, who you are and why you're standing for Slough.
Thank you very much to Slough Official and yourselves for having come to my office to interview me. In terms of myself, I was born in the Slough area, but then I also have studied 4 years out in the Punjab in India, and then I came back. Then we moved to a town called Gravesend in Kent. Then after university and so forth, then I went up to live and work in Scotland for 3 years, came back. I've been involved in the construction industry for the last 20 odd years. I've served as a councillor for over a decade, served as a school governor, I've been involved in various charitable endeavours, as well as being a trustee of the Alzheimer's and Dementia Support Services, of the MenCap Society, and have been a school governor at a couple of local schools as well, and many other things besides. In 2017, the good people of Slough were kind enough to give me their support, and I, in the last 2.5 years, have been serving as a Slough MP. I hope that the people of Slough are proud of how I've tried to serve them, and also in terms of I've taken up issues which are of relevance not only to Slough but also to our country, and indeed tackling human rights issues and other things around the world as well.
Yeah, we'll get on to it. So why are you standing for Slough specifically?
So,
what's your connection with Slough?
So my connection, as I said, I was born and brought up in the area. When my parents, in fact, when my father emigrated in the 70s, he came here straight to Slough because almost half of our ancestral village is either based in and around Slough.
That was actually a question that we got sent in by a follower. He was interested to know where you are, where your parents are from. What Pind specifically?
So Pind ਹੈਗਾ ਉੱਥੇ Jalandhar ਦੇ ਲਾਗੇ, ਸਨੇ Jalandhar. I don't know how much, whether it's a multilingual thing, but Punjabi, Hindi, Urdu, I can mix and match it.
You can speak in whatever language you want.
Yeah, so ਉੱਥੇ Jalandhar ਦੇ ਲਾਗੇ ਆ ਤੇ so when he emigrated here, then they settled in Slough because his uncles and aunts helped him to find work. He eventually went on to work at the Ford factory in Langley, which unfortunately is now closed. My mum used to work at the local petrol pump company in Farnham Road. So they lived here for a few years. They, from rented accommodation, went on to buy their first ever house within the UK, which was on Lawn Close. Yeah. That's where I spent my formative years. And that's why it is a great honour and a privilege to be serving the town with which I have such a huge connection, and the house and to which I have now, the world is truly round after having gone round various parts of the world, including Scotland and whatnot. Yeah. I am now back in Slough.
You're back in Slough. Yeah. So one of the big questions that we received from a lot of followers was, why is your family not based in Slough? You represent Slough, you're the elected MP for, well, you was the elected MP for Slough. Why are you not living in Slough yourself? Can you really connect with our local issues if you're not in Slough?
Thank you very much for raising that, and I would like to say I'm actually living in Slough. So
you are living in Slough?
I'm living in Slough, so that's one of the other how can we say, misconceptions and falsehoods that are spread around by certain people, and I know certain people on social media. We try, in terms of the Twitter trolls and the Facebook trolls, we try not to engage with any of that, because the best thing for me is to be putting out a positive message about the hard work, about the issues, about the policies, and that is what I'm very, very confident about. In terms of what I promised in 2017, I said, look, if I'm elected as the Member of Parliament, like I've worked hard elsewhere, whether it's in Scotland, in Kent and so on, that I would then forego my duties elsewhere. I duly step down as being a councillor in Kent. I'm no longer working there. I went on to buy my own house here. We did that up, so now I'm living here.
So just to confirm, your family is now in Slough as well?
That's it, so I'm living in Slough.
And all your responsibilities in Kent are now over?
That's it.
You've stepped down as
I have stepped down as a councillor there. I am no longer working there. My only full-time job is as the MP for Slough. You can go on to my register of interest. Anybody who is really a political geek can go on to the parliamentary website, and through that you'll be able to see the Independent Parliamentary Standards Authority. You'll be able to see every register, in terms of any MP, they have to register officially. So you'll see that my only job is as the Member of Parliament for Slough.
Okay, that's great. Now on to another big topic, which I'm sure you're aware about and you're expecting.
Yeah.
What is your view on Brexit?
Well, Brexit, look, in 2016, it's no hidden secret that I voted for Remain.
Yeah.
However, that's not which way the UK voted. The country voted, and indeed Slough also marginally voted in favour of Leave as well.
54%.
Yeah, so 54-46. So like the rest of the country, the community here is divided as well. So, but ultimately, what we as Labour, what we have tried to do, is to try to respect the result of the referendum by having a customs union approach to Brexit. So what customs union means is that there is no taxes or tariffs on the goods. So when we produce something in Slough, whether it's the Mars factory, whether it's Slough is a major business hub.
Yeah.
So whether it's the businesses, the unions, everybody, what they've been telling us, they do not want a hard Brexit, and they definitely do not want a no-deal Brexit, because that would impact hundreds of thousands of jobs.
See, what some of our followers have been saying, and what we've been told to ask is, the people of Slough, they voted out. They didn't vote for a deal. They just wanted out. So, and
Yeah.
they are a bit confused about your or Labour's position in regards to Brexit.
Okay, well look, our position on Brexit is very, very clear. In essence, it can be in 3 sentences. Number 1, we will finally sort out Brexit within 6 months. Number 2, we will negotiate a customs union approach, which is in essence a soft Brexit, and then we will let the people have the final say as to whether they agree with that approach or not. Now, what has happened in the last 3 years, it has been the Conservatives that have been in power, been in government. So I know while the likes of Boris Johnson will bore us with his little strapline, get Brexit done, get Brexit done. And before that we had the same thing with Theresa May. It is Brexit means Brexit. Brexit means, it's almost like, robotic. Both of them constantly come out with those straplines. But what have they done? In the last 3 years, they have delivered diddly squat. That is what they've done. The Tory party has been divided on the issue of the European Union for well over 40 years, ever since we became members of the European Union. So what's happened? Theresa May had a deal. We would have been out of the European Union last year. However, what happened? Boris Johnson and many others in the Conservative Party decided that they did not like that version of Brexit.
I think what a lot of people are concerned about, though, with the Labour position is it will be delayed further. You're claiming 6 months, but past examples are showing it's taken a lot longer than 6 months. Is that somewhere where you feel...
We have consolidated within our party, that is a conference position, that is a leadership position, everybody's agreed on that is what we will do, a customs union approach Brexit. And look, for the last 3 years, like I said, Boris Johnson, regardless of what he said, look, we didn't agree with Theresa May's deal, but neither did Boris Johnson or Jacob Rees-Mogg or the ERG group within the Tory party. So while they were too busy getting her out, Boris Johnson's version of Brexit isn't agreeable to Nigel Farage, who wants an even harder on a no-deal Brexit. His version of Brexit isn't agreeable to Labour's Brexit, because what we constantly advocated for is that we want workers' rights, because at the end of the day it's Labour on the side of working families that we wanted those protected, along with the environmental protections, the safeguards, which we have managed to secure through the European Union movement. So that is why we advocated that. And I'll tell you what, actually on one occasion we only lost by 3 votes. While Theresa May had the highest recorded loss ever in parliamentary history in terms of losing on a parliamentary vote for a Prime Minister and a government, our version of a soft Brexit only lost out by 3 votes. So we would have helped to deliver on that. But as things stand, we completely acknowledge that the country is divided.
Okay, so say Labour do win the election,
Yeah.
they get the majority in Parliament,
Yeah.
they get their deal through, they agree that with the European Union, and then they put it to a referendum.
Yeah.
Are you going to vote for Leave with that deal,
Yeah.
or are you going to vote for Remain? What's your position on that?
Well look, until we actually negotiate the deal, it's a bit silly going to somebody and saying,
Well,
look, we don't know. I'll tell you
Well,
what,
sure,
we haven't negotiated
you know
anything.
what deal you're going to negotiate as part of the
Until-
Do you not
until-
know what deal the Labour Party's going to negotiate? Or?
I'll tell you what, the Tories have been telling us that this is one of the most simplest things ever. The likes of Liam Fox and others said, this is the most simplest thing, you can negotiate it like this and we'll be out, it's all good, we'll have loads of deals lined up around the world.
Yeah.
No need to worry, it'll all be sorted. But what we are saying is, while the European Union, while the likes of Jeremy Corbyn, Keir Starmer and others have been involved in those negotiations, and the European Union is very much attuned to saying, look, I think that we have a workable solution, that we can get the deal. Until I see the small print, just as I was saying, there's 50 different types of Brexit. Until we get the small print.
Say you got the perfect deal, right? Okay, you got everything you
What's
want.
the
And you
perfect
want.
yeah, what's the perfect deal?
Whatever Labour's saying,
Yeah.
you got the perfect deal, right? That Labour wants. They got everything they wanted. Are you going to vote for that deal, or are you going to vote for Remain?
I mean, rather than deal with
We're going to need a yes or yes or no on this one.
You're trying to ask a hypothetical question. Sometimes it's like what we found out. Things like the European Union, they're a lot more complex. It's like whether it's the NHS, whether it's schools, whether it's hospitals. Those things are a lot more complex. It's not a yes no. If you start putting things into binary, that is when we as a people will lose out. The country will lose out. You've got to have the complexities. It's like if you were buying a house, until you know the terms and conditions of buying the house, when will you get the money? How much money you will get?
So
and so on.
we'll ask you. We'll ask you again.
Yeah.
If it comes to that point.
That's it. I'll tell you what, the good people of Slough need to vote in a Labour government, re-elect me as the Labour MP, first of all, Shahbaz to all of your good selves. And then, once we've got that deal, you, along with the rest of us, will be able to see just how good that deal is, and people can vote for Brexit on the terms and conditions, or they cannot vote for it.
Okay, that's fine. Just moving on now. What are your views on Kashmir? You know, Slough has a big Kashmiri population. Yeah. Many people are upset about what's going on there. Yeah. The Indian BJP's party decision to revoke Article, is it 350?
370.
370, apologies.
No problems.
Over 100 days now.
Yeah.
They've had no access to food, water or the open system. What is your view on that? My
stance on Kashmir has been out there. Is if you go onto my Twitter feed, Tan Dhesi, Facebook, Tan Dhesi, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, on the website, if you Google it up, if you go on the search engines, you will see innumerable articles where I've been quoted about my stand on Kashmir. And by the way, I haven't had making my stand on Kashmir and standing up for the Kashmiri people and speaking up for human rights, whether that's been in Kashmir, in Palestine, whether it's in terms of Myanmar with what happened with the Rohingyas, or anywhere else around the world, I have been speaking up for human rights, and that is why a lot of hardliners have been targeting me, that they want to deselect the MP of Slough because he keeps on speaking up, whether it's for the Kashmiris or other people. So my stand wasn't just here in Slough, not just in Parliament, wherein I've been involved in various meetings, meeting with the Foreign Office Minister, also as the Vice Chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Kashmir. We have had numerous discussions and meetings and put forward our case to ministers. I have also made that stand when I was questioned on it during my recent trip to India.
There is a recent story going around that you've been targeted by the BJP in the UK who have told Hindus not to vote for you. What would you say to those Hindus who are thinking of not voting for you based on Kashmir or based on your stance?
Once again, people have been putting out falsehoods. The likes of me have spoken about human rights because many of my constituents who have got friends and family out in Kashmir, they were concerned about their safety and well-being, about the communications blackout and many other things besides. So when they came to me and they said, Hanji, Sardarji, you are our MP, what, are you going to be our voice? What can you do for us? That is why I said to them, you can rest assured that this person will be speaking up on your behalf, better than most other people will be doing out there. And my stand, as I said, the reason why I've been targeted by some religious hardliners is because they're trying to portray the likes of me and the Labour Party as either being anti-Hindu or anti-India. That is nonsense. We are not anti-India, we are not anti-Pakistan, or we're not anti-anybody else. But what we need to be doing is speaking up for other people who are, if human rights issues are concerned, then the likes of me need to be speaking out, and we need to be standing in solidarity with those individuals who are expecting the international community to be helping them in their hour of need.
Do you stand against all hate?
So look,
irrespective of who or what the community is?
As you will see, those that follow me on social media will know that from my maiden speech,
does that include anti-Semitism?
And even beforehand,
does that include anti-Semitism?
The likes of me have been speaking up, whether it's against Islamophobia, whether it's about anti-Semitism, whether it's about hate crime against the Sikh community, and many other things besides. In terms of Jeremy Corbyn, I think his stance has been explicit. He has said in numerous occasions that he absolutely abhors any form of racism, including anti-Semitism, and I know that the Labour Party have been working hard. Look, we could and should have done better on weeding out those individuals. But what you've got to bear in mind is that we've got more than 500,000 members. Labour Party is now the biggest mass people power movement in Western Europe. No other party comes even close. We have got more signed up and fully paid members than all of the other political parties in the UK put together. That is what we've got. We know that we haven't got 90% plus of the media who are constantly putting out negative stories, trying to create misconceptions about Labour, but Labour is the party that puts people before privilege, that is actually working for everybody rather than just a select few.
Yeah, just based on that slogan, Labour's put out their manifesto today. I mean, you received a lot of criticism saying you're living in cuckoo land. How are you going to fund it all?
Well, what we did in 2017 was we put out a balanced budget. So that is what we had, a fully costed manifesto, and whatever we were going to spend, that is exactly what we were going to be earning through taxes and so forth. That is exactly what has happened once again. In 2019, John McDonnell and the rest of his team, the front bench team, have put forward a fully costed manifesto. Now, it's also interesting to point out that in 2017, while Labour did that, the Conservative Party, their manifesto only had page numbers. It didn't actually have a fully costed manifesto. So it will be interesting. I hope that come 2019, while the Tory party and their supporting media, which as I said is the vast majority of the media, I hope that they will be taking them to task to show where their costings are.
Well, we can put that to Canwell. We have messaged her, so
very good.
She has agreed to an interview also, so we'll put that to her. Just now moving on to a few more local issues that are affecting us in Slough. Do you know about the strike that's going on in Frimley, in the Frimley Trust?
So the Frimley Trust, as many of the Slough constituents will be aware, through my social media feeds, you will know that I was there at the picket lines in solidarity with those workers, because